So we're live with Kristen. So welcome and thank you for being here today. So
Yeah, thank
Kristen,
you.
yes, Kristen. So you have been in as a learning success coach, holistic neurogrowth learning success coach for now 2.5 years. About that,
Just about.
yes, yes. So tell me, what was the one thing that you always are so grateful for becoming that?
Um, just realigning my passion with my purpose because I went into teaching math to help kids feel more confident and to just help them be better problem solvers. And when uh, when I was in the classroom, it just that that became like the lowest priority, which was really devastating and upsetting. So,
So I like the two words you used, purpose and passion. So you're now playing both. You're purposefully living your passion with your students.
mhm.
So when you started this business, you were in a classroom online. About you had 250, they were going to add another 100 or so, about 350 student load. What was it like working with 350 students?
um, it was it was very again, I wasn't excited. I felt like it was a big chore. Like there was no excitement. I didn't feel connected to it. And just like the thought of, you know, everything was I never got to work with students really face to face either. Everything was through email, and it was just, yeah, I didn't feel like I said I wasn't connected to the work. I feel like I wasn't really helping them in the way I knew I could help them. Um, Occasionally I would definitely help some students, but it just, again, I didn't feel like I was using my fullest potential and helping them reach their fullest potential.
So what does that do to a teacher when it happens like that? Because it also happens in the classroom, right? When you know you're not serving all your students, when you know there's so many students being left behind. Uh, as teachers go into this profession because we want to serve and we want to help, not for the money or not for this whole summer vacations like most people think. So what does it feel like when you know it's happening and you can't do anything?
Um, you just, I feel like I was like in a cage. Like I just didn't, um, I wasn't able to make the choices I know I needed. Some of the students needed to make, um, and also like just my hands were tied. Like I didn't have the ability to, um, do things the way I wanted to do. I was mandated to follow a certain curriculum, or I was told I needed to follow this protocol. Um, and Yeah, and when I just felt like I couldn't do what I wanted to do and knew that what they needed, it was again, it was sad to see because especially and then in a lot of cases I had a lot of students who were just not even responsive because they knew like this, there's no point in it. And it's like I would reach out to them and try and talk to them, and there was like, they wouldn't even respond. So it's like I was talking to nobody sometimes, which is also like really, um,
Sad.
felt like again, I didn't have a purpose. I'm like, is anybody even out there? So,
Yeah, it's like policing students, right? Mostly like get your work in, get your work in, get your work in. It becomes a nag because students
yes.
don't also feel the purpose of doing stuff because there's no purpose in it. Yeah. So what made you like really, because you were on our email list for a while, you were reading my emails for a while before you started the program. What was that moment when you said, okay, I'm gonna reach out and do this? What happened that day? What was the breaking point?
Um, I just knew because, I left the actual classroom to be in this virtual, school, thinking like this is going to be my stepping stone out. And then when I was there for a while, I knew like I can't I can't do this anymore. I was reaching a breaking point. Um, like I said, the work was, I didn't feel passionate about it. It was also very repetitive. I felt like I was doing the same thing over and over again, and there was no value to it. Um, and then, yeah, I remember seeing your email a while ago and then seeing it again. And then I just knew, I'm like, I have to do something about this. So that's why I talked to you, and I knew that this is an invaluable program and it's something I need to take a leap and do. And I'm so
Yeah.
glad I did.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you in our world. But tell me about that leap. Many of the teachers, because right now we're in live streaming into many of our groups, teachers group as well. So they're at a crossroad and they want to do something. They're just like you, who's already lost the passion, right? That's the teachers I help, right? Who are so passionate to help, but they can't do it, like you felt. How
Mhm.
did you make that leap? Because that leap is the hardest leap. And it was hard for you too because we had a long conversation, right?
Yes. Um, I think just really moving past the fear, because there was just a lot of what ifs floating in my head. And that's something I think because of this program, I've learned how to do not only for myself, but for my students,
Hmm.
realizing that that kind of talk is not, most of the time, it's not even true. So I was making all these kind of ridiculous what ifs, and they were stopping me from doing something that could create, that I've created into a very well, blooming business. So just, I think, realizing that a lot of the fears I had were not true, and working past those fears, um, and because of the community we have in this group, it's really nice to just share that with others and help each other out too as well.
Mhm. So now you live in an infinite world because you even
Hmm.
called your business Infinity.
Yeah.
But at the time, 2.5 years ago, you didn't see infinite. You saw so many what ifs floating around. All the stories pointed towards all the ways that you can fail, right? That's what we do, right? We create all these stories that we can fail, but we fail to recognize that at the same time we're doing all of that, why don't we just train our brain to think of all the ways we can succeed,
Hmm.
right? Like if
Yeah.
you think about that's what I always tell everyone, right? What are you thinking majority of your day? If your what ifs are all about how I'm going to fail, well, I don't know when you ever have time to think about how you're going to succeed. There's no time
Exactly.
in the day. There's only 24 hours, right? And some of
Yeah.
it we're sleeping. So so
Yeah.
infinity is your word. So why is infinite now? Tell me about the infinity
Yeah.
that you.
So the name of my math coaching business is Infinity Math Coaching, because I just I remember when I was going through the program, it just clicked. I'm like, not only because my background is math, but is always a concept I was really
Mm,
attracted to while learning, becoming a teacher and being a teacher, and now doing this. I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I should call it. And it's also just a reminder, like you mentioned, that to think of all the possibilities. And when I think of it that way, it just encourages me and pushes me to go further, and to um, to not pay attention to those what ifs and all those things that are most likely not to happen. And
yeah,
even if, like, there is something that maybe a misstep, it's all about learning and growing from it.
yeah, yeah. If we don't have those, how are we going to learn?
Hmm.
Right? There's an opportunity to learn, and that's what we're teaching our students, right? So when you wanted to do this program, you decided, you took the leap of faith. We had a long conversation and you saw that I need to make a change because you also have two daughters that are young and you were quite involved in this 350 project that you had to deal with. So how about your husband? Was there support from him when you said, I'm going to do this? Or was he like, I don't know?
No, definitely some resistance, worry, like, how are you going to do this? Is this really going to work? But uh, I shared uh, many of the details you shared with me when we discussed, and, it's just laid out step by step. And now that he sees where I am after 2.5 years, he just encourages me, and he's happy that, um, I get to do what I love, and, I'm not frustrated with, helping students, the way I wish I could, because I'm doing that now.
Yeah, every day. And how about your holidays and stuff? That's one thing that people always say, we work, 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 and we kind of live our life sometimes. And for many of us, with the employee model that we were sold, we were supposed to work until 60 or 65, and then we get to live at 65. Like, I don't know how that's possible because most of the time, I don't know, maybe I might be on a wheelchair. I'm not sure how much I can enjoy that at 60 and 65, right?
Yeah,
Like, I want to enjoy when I'm 30. I can only do what I can at 30, right? 65 is different, 60 is different. That's what we were sold in our
right.
system. We were sold, be an employee, be an employee. But now you're an entrepreneur. That's the shift. That's the shift. You've got freedom. So let's talk about the freedom. I know that you always have vacations and you are very proud of that. Whenever you want, you can declare that and schedule your students around it. And you guys go. Tell me about your freedom of choosing when you want to work.
Um, yeah, I think it's just an amazing power, because I feel like when I was working in the school system, you felt very guilty for taking time off, because you had to make the sub plans, you had to ask for permission, and then kids would be like, "Where are you going?" So um, it was just, so I rarely did it, and because of that, that's why I experienced burnouts. Like, I never got to take a break. Um, and even when, you do take like these breaks during the school year, you're still just overloaded with all this work, because, you have to do all this other prep work and grading work outside of the actual teaching time. Um, but now, it's great because I get to schedule, I tell the clients ahead of time, look, I just took a 10-day vacation at the end of February.
Yeah.
And it was awesome because the my clients respected it. There was no, and I made sure to prepare students that if they needed it, but it was not an issue. And we have another upcoming vacation for a week in June. So it's just nice that I get to choose my own schedule, and um, still get to plan it in a way where I have time with my two young girls and my husband. So um, it's
It's amazing.
it's really empowering. I love it.
Yeah. And tell everyone about how your experience with me, in this program and our community, which is, I'm so blessed and proud of all of you in that community. So tell us about that.
It's, I mean, it's such an amazing community. It's growing every day, and I feel like everybody is. What's really nice is everybody's on a different part of their journey. So, I get to see people who are just starting, or, I get to work with people who, maybe are experts in different parts of their journeys, and we can rely on each other and support each other. Or, even then, there's times when we meet and we just, need to talk through things. So I think that was, something maybe people might be concerned about if you're working on your own, you're going to be by yourself, but that's not true at all. We have such a large and supportive community where we can reach out to each other anytime.
Yeah. And how did the training change? The training changed you. I want to ask you, did it change you? And how did it change the way you work as a teacher? Used to work as a teacher.
Um, so the training changed me from realizing that I don't have to do things. So like at first it was like, okay, wait, there's no one here to tell me what to do. And I was like, I was waiting for someone to be like, oh, no, no, you can't do that. And that,
So that
when I
was the
real,
empowering, like, oh, I'm the boss. I
yeah,
can do whatever I want. The way that my kids work, I can do stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
yes. And it's, because we're not just a teacher, right? We're working with them holistically. Um, I get to address many of the issues that, I desperately wanted to address in the classroom. Um, Not only because I have the time, but I have, I'm able to, I think that was the most important thing. Like
Freedom.
I have the time to actually spend on addressing many of the other issues that impact their learning and confidence with math, which is which really I'm finding is the most important part. It's not about like they can't remember the formula. It's really about the way they're learning and feeling about math and it's just amazing to see.
Mhm. And how did it change you? Because you are now a new person. You told me several times, right? You,
Yes, I feel like I'm just more confident. I feel like before, because I didn't have much of a choice and I had to follow things a certain way, um, I was always so doubtful about who I was, what I did. Am I really doing the right thing? But now, because I just have that power and I can see the impact I'm making and really just happier because my passion is there, my passion is back, and it just yeah, it's really awesome to see that I'm here and really it's limitless, right? It's infinity.
yeah, I see that every day in your life. So tell me, how about parents? How do they respect you? Because in the classroom, many teachers fear that, okay, we don't have a great relationship. So if I start a business that I'm going to be working with parents, they're going to be respecting me the same way or treating me the same way. But how's that experience been for you for the last 2.5 years?
You it's a different relationship. It's better because, you know, they realize your level of expertise and your ability to, and just, when I do talk to the parents, they're really grateful to realize how closely I'm working with them and the progress that they're making. And because there's that level of respect, and um, just there's more closeness because you get to see how the family works as well, which is really nice because in the classroom again there's kind of this like barrier, like you meet them once twice a year for conferences. You can try and email them, but a lot of times they never responded. But this is nice, you can continually communicate with them about what's going on, and um, they respect you, and I feel like you know
You're
that's
their guide. You're their
yeah,
guide. They treat you like you're their guide. You're the expert is here, and you also include them in the process, right? You include them. They're never left out. And you guys we all work as a team to bring the best
right.
for the child and best for the family. So they feel that, right? That
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they really appreciate that because, you know, that's not something they're used to from school teachers or even other tutoring places. It's very, separate, but, we get to really work together.
Hmm. And does your girls ever ask, what are you doing, mom? Like, are they curious about you, what you're doing with the other kids?
Oh,
And
all the time. They're like,
um,
"Oh, are you teaching math right now? Are you work? What are their names?" Like, and they're very interested, and even like, because they're younger, they like to do a lot of modeling play. So they'll be like, when they're playing with each other, like, "Oh, I have to go to my student right now,"
so they're
and
acting as
they'll
you.
like make pretend math worksheets, and it's
That's very
really
cute. That's very cute. That's very cute. So you're living an infinite life. Is that correct to say? Because of a decision you took 2.5 years ago, where you pushed past that fear. Fear is always going to be with us, right? That's why, you've probably heard in my group maybe 100 and more times that just let fear fuel you, right? Fear
yeah,
can be your fuel instead of a
yeah.
blockage.
Yeah, instead of hiding from it, listen to it and see what it's
Yeah.
telling you. Um, you know, I mean, I should say, don't listen to it in a way that's going to push you away, but
Well,
it can
accept. I mean,
inform you.
it's there. Today, if
Hmm.
you're like gonna jump off a mountain or something, it's gonna tell you might get hurt. You have to listen to it. But
Right.
if you know how to do it, if you have the skills and the tools and everything you know how to jump, you practiced enough, you should do it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You shouldn't be fearful. But I wouldn't go do it because I've never practiced that, right? So fear is good. It's not a bad thing, but we have to
Right.
understand do we have the right tools? Do we have the right skill sets? Can I take this action? And have I practiced enough, right? Those are what we teach our kids, right? The
Yeah,
mindset,
yeah.
right? So what are your stories now? How does your brain talk to you now? Because our methodology is talking to your brain and retraining at the neurological level. So how do you talk to your brain now?
I talk to myself in a more accepting way. There's a lot more positive talk. There's a lot more questioning, like, why am I saying this? That's really powerful because, like, once I can dig deeper into the why, um, then it just informs me about what I can do next. And um, yeah, I feel like the way I talk to myself, it's just more accepting, more action forward, and more empowering because again, I try and remove that negative self-talk and replace it with something that will push me forward.
Mhm. And as you are growing your business and expanding, you went from 350 to now 10 to 12 students at a time. So you're
Hmm.
really creating transformations, right? This is not the tutoring model where you put 60, 70 kids on Zoom and, make money. That's not what we are doing. We're really creating this transformation, and you'll be part of those kids' life, rest of their life, because you made a
Hmm.
significant change, right? That's what we are doing as Learning Success Coach. So I'm so proud that you took the leap forward and stayed with it. And you're one of our coaches now. You help other coaches in the program.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's.
leading them. So look at you, 2.5 years ago, that was impossible. Now you're leading other people to do
I
their
know. I
business.
would have never thought,
Yeah,
but
so
it's pretty awesome.
yeah, I'm so every day I'm thankful that you came into my world, that we're together. And tell them about the mastermind. So every business has to grow, right? It doesn't just just hit one level. You don't stay there, because then as a business owner you get bored. You want
Hmm.
something next level, right? There's always a next level to everything. So now you're part of our mastermind, and tell me a little bit about what does that do for you every month. That mastermind, what does it do for your business?
So I think again, it creates just a more intimate next level community where we really get to share um, more details about our business, what's working, what are we trying to strive for, and we really collaborate together and help each other. And it's just nice to have, this outside perspective because you can run through these ideas in your head. But hearing other people's opinions, other people's experiences with maybe the background of what you're trying. So it's just, um, it's really, again, a very powerful community, and um, it's helped push my business forward in many different ways.
Yeah, you don't have to be like that pool of what ifs, right? Or the negative talk. Sometimes when you're by yourself as a business owner, entrepreneurship sometimes can become lonely because you're like, I'm just running by myself. But if you have a community and if you have a mastermind that you belong to, it really helps because it helps everyone. What you are going through is what someone else is going through, but we just have to come together. There's a saying now, we're so connected, but at the same time, we're so disconnected,
I
right?
believe it. Yep.
Yeah, but this our communities brings that together, right? That's why I so every day I invest in creating that community, a beautiful garden where it's not like the toxic lunchroom where it's all about what's going wrong or who can I blame, the gossip stuff, right? This is purely beautiful energy that we bring for everyone to excel in their life. So how have I helped you like throughout this process for the 2.5 years?
Uh, you've just been just a really amazing guide, like step by step. Every time I have, even the smallest question about maybe how to even word something, or even like the big ideas, like I want to try and get to this stage of this business. How can I do it? And you give me these broad steps, and you also just another thing is you never tell me how to do it. Uh you have these you have a way of like framing it, I guess. You always give these nice frameworks and questions for me to think about, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then because of that, it's coming from me still, which is amazing and empowering.
Yeah.
um, but again, you're there to guide me and still help me if things, I get stuck, or um, and because of that, I'm just grateful for you and thankful for all of it.
Yeah. And that's one thing about coaching, right? A true coach is someone who doesn't give you the answer
Mm-hmm.
that you're looking for or say, solve this for me. They should give you the framework. And
Mm-hmm.
then you should do the work inside that framework. And then eventually you will be able to create that framework yourself ongoing if you practice that model, right? And that's what you do for your students too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. And then we'll bring out what's stopping them. Next thing is what's blocking them, right? And what will trigger me. Next is what will trigger me. Every one of us have triggers that will take us off our course, right? We have already set destinations, but those triggers we need to be aware of, and we know those are the ones that will take us off our plan. So as long as we know that, we can autocorrect, right? It's just like a autopilot on the car or the plane, or just adjust and then we can get to our destination. So that's what a true coaching is, not giving
Yes.
the answer to anyone. So that's what's amazing about this process. Do you want to tell anything to the teachers who are probably listening to this from their classroom or later on, but they're still at that place of uncertainty what to do? They lost their passion, right? Because that was what was happening to you and me, but they're so still invested in helping the students. They just want to help the students in a meeting, because if all the passionate teachers leave the classroom, this is my mission, is to stop them. We would not have any teacher that's going to be there for our students, and the next generation is going to have a big problem, which is already happening, right? We
Mm-hmm.
want passionate teachers to stay in teaching, not leave teaching, and this is one way to do it. So what do you want to tell them?
um I think it'd be good to just spend some time, um, maybe even writing down the fears, because once you actually like see them written out, and I realize how some of them actually kind of sound ridiculous, because like they're like just floating around in your head and spinning. Um, and then also just shift it, right? Like start thinking about what it could be rather than like what if this, all the things that could go wrong. Think about all the things that could go right.
Like,
And
I could die today. What if I die today? I could. I mean, there's a possibility, right? That's a
Right.
possibility. In math, that's a possibility. There's a percentage of that I could. I'm even though I'm in my womb right now, something could happen right now. But we
Right.
can't fear that. If we start doing that with everything we do, we're just in full of fear. Then we can't see the infinity
Right.
that's available. The abundance. We can't see the abundance. We can only see the scarcity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going. I interrupted you. I got excited.
Um, no, but I think once you just really start replacing some of these fears with more about what and connected to why you went into the classroom, like for me, like I said, I really wanted to help kids become more confident, feel good about math, feel good about problem solving, and realizing, especially with when I was working in that virtual um, school, I wasn't using my potential too. That was something that was also driving me crazy. I'm like, I have so much information and knowledge to share, and I feel like I'm only sharing this one tiny piece, and my hands are tied 90% of the time because I'm unable to do what I want to do. So realizing again that you have so much potential and you can think about it in a positive, abundant, infinite way.
Yeah.
And
Limitless.
um,
Limitless.
yep,
Yeah. Everything.
limitless.
Yeah. Everything is limitless. I'm so happy and proud of your achievement over the last 2 years, and I just can see where this is headed. I can see you scaling this and creating hybrid models to serve our students more and more. I'm excited. And if you guys are listening, if you have any questions, I know some of you came and went by. Like, if you have any questions for Kristen, you can, put it in the chat. I will see it. I can ask her. Otherwise, thank you, Kristen. And you know, you've been a very. I guess you have a spiritual side. I know you. We talked about vision board. You have a vision board. You had it, and how has that changed?
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, I created a vision board early on in this process of working with you. And I just like realized, like, not a few months later, I'm like, I need to update it. I reached the goals on here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and sometimes I would just get so busy with how things were moving along quickly. I'm like, oh, okay, I got to update it again. So usually I'm like, now I'm like thinking, I'm like, I have to think bigger. Like, you know, these
Yep.
goals are coming a lot, like they were these long-term goals, but truly
Sure.
they happened in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah, yeah, because you believed it. You believed in the infinity that's possible for you. And that's what we believe for our students. When we start
Yeah.
believing for ourselves, then we can believe it for other people. And that's the energy we transfer to them. And that's why they also succeed, right? It's an energy
Mhm.
work as well, what we do. So thank you so much. We don't have any questions. So I'm just excited for what's next for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.